Right, this lesson's all about flat file versus relational databases, and to really kind of introduce the purpose of a relational database. Now, when you're in school, the most common type of database that you see is a flat file database. Now, a flat file database is one that only has one table. Now, this is really good because the first advantage of that is that it's very, very easy to use. If all the stuff is in one place, then it's dead easy to find. But the downside of it is if you have lots of data, it means that it's taking up lots of space. So we don't like that so much, because especially when we get really big databases, then it's not going to work, and it's just simply going to be too big and cumbersome for us to deal with. So what we do is we introduce this thing called relational databases. Now, a relational database is where we have one table, but that table is related to other tables. That's why it's called a relational database. So we link all the tables together. Now, this is brilliant because what it allows us to do is it allows us to reduce replication of data. So it means we don't have to type the same thing over and over and over again. We just link the tables together by the information that they contain. We're going to go into that in a little bit more detail a bit later on. So, the advantages of relational databases. The advantages of it. The advantages of it is that there's no redundancy. Okay? Now, when we talk about redundancy, it really means wastage. Okay? It means that what we do is we don't have to type the same thing twice. So if we have a student who has a user ID and he has a name and he has a subject. Now, one person doesn't take many subjects. So one student has many subjects. So if I was typing this into a single table database, I'd have to type that again, I'd have to type that again, and then I'd have to then I would change the subject every time. What a waste of time. I don't want to type these two again. So what I do is I put these in one table, and then I put this in another table. By doing that, I only type these in once, and then I link these two tables together. So this would have a subject, and it would also have it somewhere in there the user ID to keep them linked together. There's also no inconsistency. No inconsistency. If I'm typing that name lots and lots of times, now you know my name is Mr. Gristwood, so that means if I type in Gristwood over and over and over and over again, the chances are I'm going to make a mistake. Now, if I only have to type it in once, the chances of me making a mistake are going to be a lot less. The other thing is it allows us to be flexible with the data. Flexibility. It allows us to be flexible with the data. So if I suddenly decide, actually I want a bit more information in there, all I have to do is make another table. So maybe I want another table where I've got the students' grades, for example. I can then add another table, and it gives me more flexibility. I can add stuff in, I can take it away. It makes my life a lot easier. So they're the three main advantages to a relational database. Now, when we talk about databases, we talk about primary keys. Now, a primary key, we've already discussed this before, is a unique ID. Now that's alright, we know that, we're happy with it. Well, yeah, but what's the point? Well, the point is that we can find stuff easily by that unique identifier. So if I was looking for a student called John Smith, it would be really hard. But if I was looking for unique ID 7348, it's a lot easier. Okay, but still, I'm not quite seeing the point just yet. Now, when we get to relational databases, primary keys really come into their own because we suddenly introduce this new topic, and this new topic is called a foreign key. Now, a foreign key is a primary key in a new table. So when we were looking at before, we were looking at student details. The unique ID is user ID. And if I have a subject, they would have a list of subjects. And in here, I would have to link these two together. So I put user ID in this one. So the user ID in here is a primary key, but in here, it's a foreign key because we know it's unique somewhere else. And in order to link these two tables together, we use it in this table, which is great. Foreign keys, the other thing about them, the other main difference is the fact that it's not unique in this table. It's unique in this table. In here, the foreign key, its only job is to link the two tables together. Right, that's primary and foreign keys. Now, we have to talk about the links. How to link the relational databases together. The types of relationships. Now, there are 3 types of relationships. There is a 1-to-1. A 1-to-1 relationship is basically saying there is one record in here that relates to one record in here. 1-to-1 relationships, pretty rubbish. Not much use for them. Okay? Because if you've got a 1-to-1 relationship, really all the data should be in the same table. The only reason why when they become useful is if we have to expand a database and we want to add more details in at a later point. But really, they're not great. The other type we have, and this is the symbol for it, is a 1 to... Oh no, this is not a 1-to-many. I do apologize. This is a many-to-many. I do apologize. That's a many to many. Now these things are evil, okay? And it is, when you are a database designer, it is your primary job to get rid of these, okay? Because we don't like them, okay? Today we were talking about personal details. And relationship status. We were using this in the Facebook example. So we were saying that many relationship statuses can be used by one person, but many people can use many relationship status. It's a many-to-many relationship. It's not good, and it doesn't work very well, and you end up with a bit of a mess when it comes to the database. So what we have to do is we have to try and break those apart and break those down. Now that's a bit more advanced than what you need to know, but the most important one that you do need to know, which is the most useful, is this. This is what we're after, the 1-to-many. If you can make every table a 1-to-many relationship, then you end up with loads of marks, loads of praise, and you're very good at your job. Okay? The ultimate 1-to-many is the students and subjects. One student can have many subjects. One subject can't be taken by... One student can also be taken... One subject can also be taken by many students. So we've got a bit of a problem there, but I'm trying to keep it simple. So one student can have many subjects. Okay, one teacher can have many students. Yeah, one student can have many teachers. You see how we get stuck into it. So they're the types of relationships. I'm probably using the worst examples in the world here, but there's a lot of, but you will find in life there are lots of one-to-many relationships, and that's what we should aim for. Now, the last bit I just want to talk about, we'll use the Facebook example. Facebook is the largest database, or a massive database, okay? Facebook is the biggest database you'll find around, okay? 800 million users and counting, okay? Now, we've based Facebook on a relational database. So if you've got personal details, and we'll have our wall. One person will have many wall posts. Yeah? One person will have many messages. One person will have many friends. And all these tables all link together to form something that's really big. And as Facebook grows, it adds more tables, so then you get more information. Right, that was all about relational databases and how they work, and hopefully you understand that a little bit more. Thanks.